Hi, I'm Dr. Gene Paget, and this is Advanced Squad Leader. This is a historical module of Advanced Squad Leader, although it is just a sample of what tank movement is like in Advanced Squad Leader. This is from the module called Camp Group Piper. This is a 2-box set, versions 1 and version 2, that gave historical maps to the Battle of the Bulge and the areas in the northern part of Belgium and parts of Luxembourg as well. The pieces I have set out here are as follows. This is an SS squad that is in an orchard hex next to a road. This orchard hex is bounded by barbed wire fence the rest of the way around, and next to the road is a hedge. I have 2 tanks here with this small SS unit. One is a Tiger tank with an 88 long gun, and the other is the famous Panther tank, the Panzer V from World War II. So what we're going to do is move these towards the town of La Gleize here in Belgium and see what happens when they encounter a scratch American unit. The Americans that we have here are first a concealed American squad along with a bazooka. They're concealed behind this building, behind this hotel as it's labeled. We also have a tank, a Sherman tank, in the center of the town. What we're going to try to do is move the pieces forward, and when the American tank sees the Tiger, it's going to throw its engine into reverse and try to back up, and then the Tiger and the Panther will fall into a trap. We'll set this trap. We'll spring the trap as the tanks move forward, see how they do what they do, and then we'll be through with our demonstration. First off, this is the movement phase during the German turn. During this battle, there was snow on the ground. Ground snow was the environmental conditions at the time. But we're not going to worry about that. This is about the tank movement. So the first thing that I would do here is advance the squad up slowly. It takes a couple of movement points to go over the barbed wire fence there into the next orchard hex, and then a couple of movement points to move into this building. So the squad might move first here in order to check out the surroundings, see if it was safe for the tanks. So this squad has moved forward and has arrived at the crossroads. Now here we have the tank. It's stopped right outside of the town. First movement point is to start the tank, and so it begins to move forward. Notice that there's not a crew exposed marker on top, so the hatch is closed, the entire crew is inside. 1 movement point is expended as they started. This tank advances to the next hex. We've expended 2 movement points. In most conditions, if the tank is crew exposed, meaning that the commander has his head out of the top of the tank and is guiding the movements along the road could be at a cheaper 1/2 movement rate, but it's buttoned up, as it's called right now. So this tank has moved forward. It has moved 2 movement points so far, yet only 1 hex. Every time the tank moves a hex or makes some kind of a change, it's subject to being attacked by an allied unit. There is no attack, so it proceeds. It moves its 3rd movement point, and when it does so, it sees the American tank here in the center of the town, and the American tank also sees the Tiger tank right in front of it. So they have a motion roll, and with this motion roll, the American tank goes into motion. Basically, in practical terms, this tank has slammed its engine in reverse in order to back up. So what this is going to do is it's going to cause this Tiger tank to charge forward to try to catch up with this American tank and destroy it. In frontal armor terms, this American Sherman tank is no match for that German Tiger tank. So since it's the Germans' movement phase, the American tank can't move out of the hex into another hex, but it can go into motion, which makes it harder to hit. Basically, it's the process of beginning to back away from the German tank. So at this point, we've expended 3 movement points, And so the tank continues. It's charging forward to go after that American tank that it sees. It moves another hex, that's 4 movement points, and then it moves again, the 5th movement point. At this point, the trap is sprung. The American squad in the orchard behind the hotel here is going to take a shot with its bazooka. It's a 2-hex shot against a moving Tiger tank that has a +1 modifier. It's an extra large tank. It is a shot in the side, and the bazooka has only seen it for 1 movement point. It does make it more difficult. The shot is missed. Since that shot is missed, we have to put a fire counter on the bazooka and the squad here. And having realized that it was in a trap, the Tiger is going to stop, rotate its turret, placing a turret counter on the tank to point towards the squad, and it's going to fire its machine gun. Now these machine guns are in the turret, so it's the second of the 3 machine guns that are listed on the counter. And it fires back at the American squad, and it's a morale check. The morale of this American squad is 7, the last of the 3 numbers. It's a 6, so it passes its morale check. The firing didn't affect the American squad, and then the tank continues. So far, let's count. It started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement points for the tank. It wasn't stopped. It did turn its turret and fire, and now it continues. 6 movement points, and it turns its turret again, but back partially to the front. I fumbled the counter there. It turns its turret 1 hex spine so that it has this tank in its sights now. It's going to fire at the tank, and it misses. There are a great deal of modifiers to firing at a tank while you're still in motion and while it's in motion as well. And this tank, the Tiger, is all buttoned up, meaning that the commander is inside. At this point, this tank decides to stop because it is all set up now. If it stops, it has a better chance of destroying the Sherman tank, and so it has a good firing position, and it just decides to stay and take a better shot as soon as the American tank backs up. But the other part of the trap is now sprung. There was an anti-tank gun here on the other side.